Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a mid-2000s Panerai Luminor Marina PAM00120, a watch that is an atypical Panerai in several respects. First, the fact that it has a wonderfully colorful, vertically striated satin blue dial. Panerai was way ahead of the trend with this color and this treatment back in the early 2000s, and this watch is emblematic of that. Unusual for a Panerai, however. Also unusual, a full bracelet. We tend to see them on straps. The bracelets are the distinct minority of production. And finally, 40 millimeters, making this a more versatile and wearable Panerai Luminor, as well as a viable alternative to more conventional timepieces from the likes of Omega and Rolex. So this is a Panerai that's also friendly for smaller wrists. Finally, the timepiece on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist is roundly comfortable and moderately sized. It has impressive wrist presence. You can't tell at a glance that it's not a 44, but it does have a friendlier lug-to-lug dimension of 48.1 millimeters. So that's going to be something you're going to want to take into account. This is a watch you can wear, a Panerai no less, that you can wear on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. It's not a thin watch. It is a timepiece that towers 15.5 millimeters over the wrist, but it does have a nice slope to its conical polished bezel, so it will slide underneath a jacket cuff, just not a dress shirt. The timepiece has a 22 millimeter lug spacing, and you can see, we'll take the timepiece off the wrist, that the lugs are joined to the bracelet with old school Panerai screws. No spring bars here. This is how it used to be done. So if you're established Paneristi and you have strap changing kits at home, you can use them right here. The bracelet is a handsome piece. As you can see, it's screwed together by the bottom. It's a compound double metallic assembly of satin and polish, and you'll note the recurring polished motif echoing the crescent-shaped crown guard of the timepiece that is the distinctive symbol of the Luminor line, and one might even say the design icon of the entire Panerai brand. So it's recapitulated in a layered, differentially finished, and fearsomely complex bracelet that's also nicely built to vent the wrist. You can see this one's thoughtfully designed for wrists that sweat on hot days, perfect for a sports watch. Now you do have individual removable links that are fixed by screws, and I'll demonstrate that. You can see them adjacent to the clasp, as well as on the opposite flank. So you size this one with screws, no weird pin sleeve system, you don't need a punch. It has a clasp that's nicely made. Double trigger, you can see that it's very secure when closed. The mechanism is substantial and the carriage is thick and machined. You can also see the fact that it's curved to match the underside of the wrist, so very comfortable as well as very secure. Turn it all over, the case is classic Bertarini Panerai. Alessandro Bertarini, one of the original crewmen of the 1993 Panerai civilian launch. Back in '93, Bertarini was part of the OPIII Panerai crew that launched 3 models, including the Luminor Marina. And the timepiece has essentially changed only in its scale, not in its proportions or its lines. This is Bertarini's original case. This is no 1950, and you can see there's a reason why they call these tuna cans. It's an endearingly chunky look. It's also all of satin finish, so while it's a bulky watch, it's not overtly gaudy. There's only polish on the bezel, and it's a handsome contrast with the satin of the case. 40 millimeters in diameter rather than the typical 44 or the truly monstrous 47s. It's an easy watch to wear, and it's one you can legitimately compare to something like a Sea Dweller or an Explorer 2 in terms of wrist fit and presence. Now that dial, I mentioned that Panerai was all about the blue dials before they were a thing, and here you can see what's often called a sausage style dial. It has printed indices and numerals rather than the sandwich construction, so it's lume on top of a base rather than sunken in, and you can see that it features that vertical satin metallic look. It's the blue of jeans, but it's the satin finish of stainless steel. The magnifier, unlike Rolex, is underneath the crystal, so it can never get sheared off. It's a Luminor Marina because it has a small second subdial, and it has a date with a quick set function. Now the device protecting the crown, lever locked, very secure, 300 meters water resistant, but all you need to do is unlock it, and now you can wind the watch. Now, for instance, you can set the watch. Everything is immediately accessible, and it's wonderful because you can actually use this mechanism when you have wet, sweaty, or gloved hands, whereas screwed down threaded crowns can often be too tight to budge when you don't have optimal traction. Here, it's easy to manipulate and completely unlocked until that cam sinks it into its sleeve and it seals. 300 meters water resistant, protecting the Panerai OPIII. What is it? Well, it's a Valjoux 7750 P1, which is to say it's a 7750 with 21 joules rather than 25, that's been shorn of its chronograph components and made to run as a chronometer automatic. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. It is a unidirectional automatic winder, so very efficient. Quick set date with hacking seconds, 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate, and once again, Panerai using a movement that is both tough and accurate. It's the perfect combination for this timepiece. The watch is an I series, so 2006. These were made from 2002 to 2006, I being the last of the series. And the PAM00120 is objectively a rare Panerai, in addition to being a rather atypical Panerai. So if you like the brand, if you like the iconic Luminor, but you don't love the Clone Wars image that the company has, you want the one that no one else has in a brand where everything looks alike, this is the exception to the rule. See it and make it yours on the watch box. Panerai Luminor PAM00120. Don't look at this thing with NVGs on your head, you'll be blinded. Glows like a torch. See it by day on the watch box.